Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishnah's Kesubos, Perek Aleph, Chapter 1, Mishnah Zayin, Mishnah 7. This Mishnah is really going to be a variation of the previous Mishnah. The case is the same. A person marries a woman, and he realizes after the first night that they're together, that she is not a virgin, she's not a psula. And in yesterday's Mishnah, her claim was that she was violated after Erison, meaning she didn't trick him. But she didn't trick him because when they were Mekadeshus, when he married her through Kedushin, she was a virgin. But after that, she was violated by someone. She was raped. So it's not her fault. And yes, she's not a virgin anymore because somebody else cohabited with her. But it's not her fault. When the marriage took place, she was a virgin. And it was his bad mazel, his bad fortune about what happened. But he can't back out. And now Mishnah Zayin is going to be a similar case, but her claim is a different one. So in this case, when he brings her to the Beis Din after the first night, and he sees she is not, and he realizes she is not a virgin, so he says, so he comes to Beis Din with her. He comes to the rabbinical court with her. She says, she's got to claim something. She's got to say, like, what's going on? She's supposed to be a basula. That was the arrangement of the marriage. And she says, Mukas eitz ani. What happened is that I was wounded by a piece of wood. Meaning basically a piece of wood went into her and broke her virginal membrane. And that's why she's not a basula. So her point is like this. Her point is that, yes, I am not a virgin. And not only that, I lost my virginity before the marriage. This is not after the marriage. She's actually saying, yes, before the marriage, before the Kedushin, I already wasn't a virgin. But that's because I was mukatzetz. That was because I was wounded. Not because someone cohabited with me. Not because anybody did anything to me. Not because I did anything with anyone. Now, the thing that has to be clarified is that, okay, fine, she was wounded, but he married her as a virgin. And if she wasn't a virgin, then she should have told him.
Yeah.
Why didn't she tell him? Especially now, because it's happening before the marriage, not after the marriage, it's before the marriage. So the whole condition of the marriage was that she's a virgin. And she's not. So how can she claim, well, I was wounded? But you should have told him he married you because you were a virgin. So it's a mistake. So the answer that's given here is, and I'm going to read it to you here from the notes. Although she did not tell him before Erison that she had been injured by a piece of wood, he cannot claim that he had been tricked into marrying her. Even if he had known of the injury, he probably would have married her because it is not a serious deficiency. Only a man who was fooled into marrying a real non-virgin, meaning a woman who had cohabited with a man, can claim that the marriage was based on a mistake. That's very interesting. Mm-hmm. It is not so much about virgin or not. It's about not being a virgin through cohabitation with another man. Even if it's and even if this and she didn't commit adultery here, right? It's before the marriage, but his whole condition, his whole call it demand that she be a virgin, means she should be a virgin, not and that she hadn't lost her virginity by cohabiting with someone. But if the point was that she lost her virginity because she was wounded, that we say would not have been a issue by him to say he wouldn't have married her. So therefore, the issue here is that she is saying, look, I didn't trick you. I did not cohabit with someone. I lost my virginity because I was wounded. And therefore, you can't say the marriage is a mistake and I don't get a ksuba. I do get a ksuba. But what kind of ksuba does she get? How much? A virgin gets 200. Is she still a virgin to get 200? And the answer is no, she's not. She will not get 200. She is going to get 100. Because at the end of the day, even a woman who, again, even if she lost her virginity because of a piece of wood, because of wounded by a piece of wood, that will now lower her ksuba amount. The amount she gets in the ksuba will be lowered to 100, like a widow, but it still doesn't mean, though, that the whole marriage was a mistake. Okay, now, so that's her claim. V'hu Omer, and he says, Loiki, not so. Eladrusas Ishat. You have cohabited with a man. The reason why you're not a virgin is because you cohabited with a man. Now, as we said yesterday, he can't say that for sure. He has no idea. But his point is, you're claiming that as from a piece of that you got wounded before the marriage. And I'm saying, I don't know, maybe you did, and maybe it was a piece of wood, and maybe it was from a man. And if it was from a man, then for sure the marriage was a mistake. And there would be no payment. And the point is, as we said, his claim is not certain, but again, he has the money, right? She's trying to take the money away from him. And we have a rule, you want to take money away from someone, the burden of proof is on you. So his point to her is, you're claiming that you were wounded, maybe not. Maybe you cohabited with someone. And if you did cohabit with someone, then the marriage was a mistake, you don't get anything. And since we don't know, who says you have a right to take the money away from me? Because the burden of proof is on you. Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer oimrim nemenes. Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer say she is believed. And she is believed, as we explained yesterday, because she has a chazaka. She has a presumed status. Now, what is that presumed status here? The presumed status is not, well, she is a virgin because she herself admits she lost her virginity before the marriage. So the chazaka that she was born as a virgin isn't going to help you right now because we know for sure she's not a virgin. Okay? And even if we say, okay, but she lost her virginity now. All right, but she doesn't have the assumed status of virgin anymore because she admits that she's not a virgin. The question is, how is she not a virgin? But on that, there is still another chazaka. And the chazaka is, and I'll read to you here from the notes, here the rule of a chazaka, the presumed status tells us that she was cohabitation free when she was born. That was her status. Her status was when she was born, she had not cohabited with someone. And that status now can stay because we don't know otherwise. And when she goes in and she says, I'm not a virgin, but I didn't cohabit with anyone, her chazaka, her presumed status based on how she started off is still there. Because there's nothing telling us otherwise. There's no proof otherwise. So she has a chazaka that she did not cohabit with someone, plus the fact that her claim is certain and his claim is uncertain. And therefore, Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer say that we believe her. Rabbi Yeshua Omer, Rabbi Yeshua says, we do not live from what she says, based on what she says. We have to assume her status is that she did cohabit with a man, which really means to say that we have to consider that possibility, and therefore, until she brings proof to her words. Meaning, practically speaking, we're going to be assuming that she did cohabit with a man. Because, according to Rabbi Yeshua, having a chazaka, having a presumed status, which in this case would have been a presumed status that she had not cohabited with anyone, and having a certain claim against an uncertain claim is still not enough to be able to take money away from a person. You still need a greater proof to be able to take money away from someone. And therefore, Rabbi Yeshua says she cannot take the money from him. She cannot collect ksuba from him until she brings proof to her words that she was not cohabited with a man, but that she was wounded by this piece of wood. But otherwise, without proof, our assumption, meaning our practical assumption, is going to be that she did cohabit with someone. That's why she's not a virgin, and this all happened before the marriage, and therefore she cannot collect any money from him. And as we mentioned after Mishna yesterday, the halacha follows the opinions of Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Eliezer, that we do believe her in these cases. Okay, now, without aid, the Iser Kabbalas Rechilasu, Afilim Shama Mishnah B'Yoser, the prohibition to accept Rechilas is even if you heard this from two people or more, meaning you have people that actually would be enough to be witnesses in a bezdin. Or already it's news. People have heard. It's news that's getting around that so-and-so spoke about someone who did something to someone. Nonetheless, you may not accept it as fact. And even if the people saying this over are saying, we're letting you know that he did this to you so that you should protect yourself from him. Because if he did it once, Maybe I'll do it again. Even if that's why they're saying it, that therefore they are not considered wicked based on what they're doing, not considered sinful what they're doing, because they're allowed to say it over because of the fact that it's for toelis, it's for a constructive purpose. Nonetheless, you cannot accept it as the truth. You can only accept it as far as being extra precautionary to protect yourself. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.